Puno na ako.
The foundings. As the Prime Minister of the government, I am tasked to set the parameter of the debate. So, for purposes of this debate, the issue is limited to the question on whether or not the founding is to be accorded natural-born citizenship, and to the question on whether or not the legislature shall enact a law to accord natural-born citizenship to foundlings. Before presenting the arguments of the government, allow me first to define some important terms. Under Section 2, Article 4 of the 1987 Constitution, natural-born citizens are citizens of the Philippines from birth without having to perform any act to acquire or perfect their Philippine citizenship. I believe you are not yet allowed to make a point of information. Or, number two, those born before January 17, 1973 of Filipino mothers who elect Philippine citizenship after reaching the age of majority. For purposes of for founding, a foundling is one who is abandoned at infancy whose biological parents are unknown. You're not yet allowed to make a point of information. In establishing the proposition of the government of foreign natural-born citizenship to foundlings, we have the following grounds. First, the rule of presumption of citizenship of founding under the generally accepted principle of international law. Second, the obligation of the Philippines to accord natural-born citizenship to foundlings under international law. Third, under the rule of adoption, once the foundling is adopted, he is regarded as a Filipino upon birth and acquires the rights of the legitimate child, including citizenship. And fourth, the moral hazard is greater if the rule is otherwise. On to the first argument. Under the generally accepted principle of international law, the foundling is presumed to be a citizen of the country where he is found, and presumed to be born a citizen of the country. This presumption is disputable. That means, unless and otherwise it is contradicted, the status quo remains. He is presumed to be a citizen of the country. The burden of proof is on the person who alleges that he is not a citizen, natural-born citizen of the country. On to the second argument, the right to nationality, being a bond between the state and the individual, is conferred upon the consent of the state. And this consent is achieved in three ways. First, expressly through a municipal that confers nationality upon a foundling. Second, expressly through an international convention or treaty where a state assumes the obligation to confer its nationality upon founding in its territory. Number three, after the next minute, please. Third, impliedly, through a rule of customary international law that imposes an obligation on the state to confer its nationality upon foundings in its territory. Under the United Declaration on Human Rights, to which the Philippines is signatory, nationality is a human right. The Declaration of the Rights of the Child, through its resolution, provides that nationality is entitled to the child from birth. Principle 3 of the Declaration reads that the child shall be entitled from his birth to a name and a nationality. Under Article 24, Paragraph 3 of the ICCPR affirms that every child has the right to acquire nationality. Furthermore, Article 7, Paragraph 1 of the Convention on the Rights of the Child provides that the child shall be registered immediately after the birth to a name, the right to acquire a nationality, and as far as possible, the right to know and be cared for by his or her parents. Said CRC also imposes upon state parties, including the Philippines, to ensure the implementation of these rights in accordance with their national law and their obligation under the relevant international instrument in this field, in particular where the child would otherwise be stateless. Under the general accepted principle of international law, the Philippines, being a signatory to the international law, are bound by its rules.
Point of information now.
Yes, please.
Would you agree to me that an Article 4 it expressly provides that the foundings are not expressly provided for in the Article 4 of the Constitution?
That's why the presumption, under the generally accepted principle of international law, that he is a citizen of the country where he is found and presumed as natural born of the citizen of the country where he is found. The presumption is pursuant to the general accepted principle of international law. More information, please. Uh, yes, please. Regarding dual citizenship of an individual.
I'm sorry, my question is about are you aware of the existence of the dualist doctrine which applies in the Philippines as a state?
It is not the controlling doctrine of more point of information.
Have you forgotten that the Philippines is following the principle of use sanguinis, and therefore foundings we cannot trace blood relation for foundings. So how can you establish that? If these foundlings are vested citizenship, then it is granted to them by operation of law through naturalization.
The presumption is that natural-born citizens are presumed to be citizens of the country where he is from. Hence, the presumption is he has a parents that are natural Filipino citizenship. So under the rule on jus sanguinis, he is presumed as natural-born citizen of the country. No more point of information. Then I rest my case.
Stop Robes. Stop Robes. Wala pang speaker.
Di.
Hello? Hello? Okay, allow me first to greet everyone a pleasant afternoon. Okay, so yesterday I was reading an article and it is entitled Justice and Law. This article is written by Professor Dr. Emil Brugger. In the said article, there are two ideas to be considered in the dispensation of justice. The idea, number one, is the idea of law, and second is the idea of equality. According to him, between the two, the idea of law is more fundamental. Before we know what is due to each man, we look into the law if something is due to him. The law preordains what is due to him. Hence, if we uphold the law, then we therefore also achieve justice. So again, ladies and gentlemen, our country was never remiss in taking care of the foundlings. Pursuant to the United Nations Conventions, as mentioned earlier by your first speaker, ladies and gentlemen, the Philippines also adheres that the promotion of and the reduction of statelessness is also important. By that, the Philippines also supports the contention that that every foundling shall be accorded with nationality. But that is not why we are debating this motion for today. we are debating this particular motion for today because there are individuals who are considered to be foundlings who aspires to be considered as natural born citizen of the country. In the speech of the first speaker, there was never any mention of how a particular of how according the natural born citizenship could best well help and benefit the stakeholders in this particular debate, and that is the founding, and second is the state itself. Ladies and gentlemen, my question for you right now is, why are we really debating this motion? Are we debating this motion for the fact that we are reminding, ladies and gentlemen, that this debate is a policy debate. Meaning, ladies and gentlemen, that each house should introduce a policy that will best address the problem in today's debate. In the context of the speech, in the paradigm of the Prime Minister, we did not see any policy that was introduced. We didn't see any mechanism that would best address the particular problem of there's actually no problem introduced by the first speaker of why should we not accord natural born citizens to foundings. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to proceed to the opposition side is going to tackle this debate very simply. We are going to provide you a policy that will best address the issue about founding, and finally, we're going to tackle about the principles behind the debate. So it's my job to provide to you why we believe that according natural born citizenship to foundlings is a violation of the Constitution. So again, it is defined by your first speaker that Section 1 of Article 4 of the 1987 Constitution, it defines who are the citizens of the Philippines. Furthermore, Section 2 of Article 4 of the same Constitution provides for the definition of a natural born citizen. First, what is very important to consider is the bedrock principle that our legal system adapts to the principle of jus sanguinis, meaning blood relationship, in determining natural born citizens. Sit down, I'll take my point after 2 minutes. Okay. So the same principle was already operating since the 1935 Constitution. Okay, so the Constitution explicitly enumerated and it expressly enumerated who are the citizens of the Philippines. This enumeration is purely exclusive. Basic is the rule in the statutory construction that expressio unius est exclusio alterius, meaning items that are not provided in a list are deemed not to be included at the end of the day. As the list in the 1935 Constitution up to the 1987 Constitution, there is no founding find in a particular provision. Established rules of legal interpretation tell us that nothing is to be added to what the text states or reasonably implies. A matter that is not covered is to be treated as not covered. Again, the provisions of the law are clear, and the letters of the law are unmistakable. It is well settled rule in our legal system, and as also provided. It is also provided in the case of Barciliano versus Banas that when the law is clear and unambiguous, or in a categorical language, there is no more room for construction, only application. How are we going to apply these particular provisions of the law? We are going to apply by not according the natural born citizenship to this particular founding. Therefore, okay.
Okay. Are you aware of the preamble, Mr. Speaker?
Yes.
That if there is any ambiguity in the Constitution itself, because the Constitution is a continual work in progress, therefore any ambiguity, we should therefore resort to the purpose of the Constitution on why was it written and what was the intention.
But
in the 1935 Constitution,
Okay, so you're not listening to what I'm saying.
I am listening.
No, there was no clear ambiguity in Article 4. That is the subject of this today. It is very clear that among the four, none of it did mention that founding is a natural born citizen of the Philippines. I take it. Okay, so therefore, the constitutional requirement must be applied strictly. Since, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a problem at the end of the day. So again, international law, treaties, conventions, or convention as meant
Mr. Speaker,
the reference to international law, treaties, obligation, or convention. That's a very little further to both the argument of the first speaker. It is worth emphasizing that conventional international laws have only the status of statutes and legislative enactments. As such, the Constitution, at the end of the day, shall not be violated, meaning that every laws enacted by your government is going to be void at the end of the day. With that, the opposition still clashes.
The Deputy Prime Minister of the Government.
thank you, Mr. Adjudicator. Before I go to the matter, in fact, of my arguments, to the esteemed adjudicators, worthy opponents, and to the liberal minds and human hearts honoring this enlightening event, a pleasant afternoon to all of you. Now let me tackle first on they keep on dwelling on jus sanguinis. Are you aware of the Texon versus Comelec case? Yes, and that's 1934 and 1935. It presumably states that those who are born of Filipino mothers and Filipino mothers are presumed to be a Filipino citizen, a naturally born Filipino citizen. And in that case, it accepts of a presumption that those who are found in the Philippines, subject to the generally accepted principles of international law, are indeed a citizen of the Philippines, therefore a naturally born Filipino citizens. Now that's to settle the fact on jus sanguinis, to keep pointing out on jus sanguinis. Now regarding the, you say we didn't provide any mechanism, because there is no need for any mechanism in fact. The reason why, are you aware of the section 2 of the Article 4, which says that a person who doesn't have to do anything to perfect or to acquire his Philippine citizenship is deemed a naturally born citizen. Does a foundling have to do any positive act? Wait. Thus, therefore, don't just dwell on the first section of the Article 4 of the Constitution. Now, to set up things up, let me get straight to my arguments. Again, we are all gathered here, tasked to resolve the issues of conferring natural-born Filipino citizenship to foundlings. Questions will arise, such as, are they or not the natural-born citizens? Or is it your Barong Tagalog that really makes you a natural-born citizen? Or what makes you you? What makes you a natural-born citizen that, what makes you a natural born citizen that you cannot afford, not yet, that you cannot afford to provide the same treatment to foundlings, where the truth and in fact, both of you does not have to do any positive act to acquire or perfect your Philippine citizenship. It is of our strong conviction that in this given tenor, as expressly provided by no less than the Constitution, in particular, Section 2 of Article 4, as I mentioned, that declares a citizen who does not have to perform any act to acquire or perfect their Philippine citizenship are deemed to be a natural citizen. Now I ask this to the opposition, what makes you inclined to the idea of not proclaiming foundlings as a natural citizen, where there is no express provision of law that prescribes such acts, and where you cannot even categorize them as a naturalized citizen? Now ladies and gentlemen, the auspices of the International Declaration of Human Rights dictates that foundlings shall be treated as citizens of the country where they were found. This for advancing the benevolent and compassionate deeds that must be practiced by family of nations in promotion of peace and equality.
On your first
Am I allowed to accept? Okay, go.
Your first view. So since you have brought up the 1935 Constitution, which according to you presumes that the foundlings could be considered as a national born citizen, may I remind you, sir, if you are aware of the fact that they have a deliberation in the Congress whether to include expressly in the Constitution the case of the foundling. Then Mr. Rojas expressly said na it will no longer be necessary, sir, because it's not the call for that time.
Okay, that's a very good point though, but let me enlighten you in that part. During that during that 1934 Constitutional Convention, which produced the 1935 Constitution, its deliberations acknowledged